Hi, I wanted to talk about no buy months, years, weeks. If you're a planner babe, then you're probably already familiar with the term no buy. For planner girls, we have specific challenges depending on the month of the year and who you follow as to what that no buy will be. As it's January, most of us are still sticking to our resolutions because my family is very generously paying for us and the kids to go to Disney this year. Obviously, one of my goals is to save some extra fun money for Disney. Buy the kids whatever they want, within reason. Um, but part of the no buy brigade, if you will, is the idea of really honing in on what you're buying and why. Because we live in a very consumerist culture. Uh, and when I looked at myself and my buying habits, I watched all these videos and people are like, well, stop buying lattes. Well, I don't drink lattes. I don't go to Starbucks. I don't eat out. So for me, those videos were not helpful at all. They just weren't because that's not how I spend. But in looking at my spending habits, I don't spend I don't spend on myself very much. The basics, groceries, right? Gas for the car, more shared goods than anything. Girls got to eat. But what I do spend money on is the kids. And a lot of times I have found through a very fastidious study is that my kids probably don't need 50 things from the Target dollar spot. Not that I've ever actually bought 50 things from Target dollar spot. However, it's that idea that if we're not spending our money on things that we need or things that we want that will be useful for a long extended time period, then perhaps we could be doing something better with our money, like saving it, building an emergency fund, paying off debt, and that's kind of where the no buy brigade is goes towards. So I set some specific, measurable, actionable goals, smart goals, and I found um, the personal philosophy project. Too bright, too bright. Um, on shipped, yay! Something I spent money on. I don't normally buy through Amazon. I bought more memory for my computer because it's dying ever since the Windows 10 update. So I didn't even want to spend $60 on 2 chips of memory, but I did it because I know that computer will last me years and years once I finally get it fixed. But again, in watching her personal philosophy, she did a no buy year. And while she's over the pond, a lot of her hints and tips are much, much better than any of the ones that I had seen before. Because I am a single mom with a small business, I have a really small budget for everything. And when I splurge, it tends to be on the kids. And it might not be on large things. I think, I unexpectedly had to buy the kids shoes due to no fault of their own, but fault of other adults. And I have upcoming expenses because we had expected, because it's court mandated, that the kids have dental insurance. Well, they don't have dental insurance, and my daughter has a cavity, so I have to pay, and I called about that. It's a lot more than I had expected. So I have a choice to dip into the emergency funds to pay for that, or I've asked them about payment options, monthly payment plans, put a chunk down and then pay off the rest. But again, these are things that are bound to pop up, whereas my dental work will be tens of thousands of dollars. Their dental work will be hundreds that I wasn't expecting to pay very quickly. And as such, my budget will have to adjust. But the idea is that buy particular things. So for me, obviously, I need to buy groceries for myself, the kids. I need to buy dog food. One of the things that when I have a little bit of money, I tend to splurge on is dog toys. My dogs have so many toys that they don't need more toys, and that's one of the things that she goes over is, do they have enough? My kids have plenty of toys. My kids have so many toys that they still have toys that they haven't opened and played with from Christmas. Which is mind-blowing. My kids tend to focus on one thing at a time, and that's great for someone with a small budget because I can reintroduce those toys throughout the spring. And I tend to try and give them experiences. We went to a play, Pete the Cat. My parents generously purchased those tickets for the family. And even though it was a terrible play, it was something that I would have spent money on that would be acceptable during a no-buy time period because it's not a thing, it's an experience. So a lot of the no-buy stuff I kind of see as like, don't buy stickers this month. Well, I don't normally buy stickers. I buy stickers when I see something really, really amazing and it's an independent artist. I buy a lot from Etsy artists. I buy a lot from people that support people that support autism things. So I have like IEP meeting stickers that I've had for like years because you only have it like once or twice a year. And when you buy the stickers, you get like 10. So, it stretches out over time. But I don't just, cancel your magazine subscriptions. I don't have magazine subscriptions. I don't have Hulu or Netflix. We borrow Netflix. And so things that are normal for other people aren't something that I could cut back on because it's not something that we use. So for me, I'm more consciously spending. We have a consignment sale coming up in March. And so we have a ton of clothes to sell, which is great. And I usually buy just as much as I sell. It's about $100. $100 for 2 kids for a season. That's cheap. Like, I do not mind spending that money. But my daughter always ends up wearing the same particular outfits over and over again and then not wearing half of her wardrobe, which is fine. She's a kid, whatever. I don't really care. But if I could buy her less and then buy her things as she needed them in the season, that would be more conscious purchasing. Whereas my son just destroys everything. So there's not too many hand-me-downs. We hand-me-down for farm clothes, which is essentially what I do. I purchase probably 2 new pairs of jeans a year, and then the old ones with the holes will become farm jeans for spring, summer, and fall season. And that's how I consciously purchase my stuff, because we do have a unique kind of lifestyle where we do help out at the farm, and so we get dirty, and that's okay. I don't mind buying barn boots cheap at the consignment sale, knowing they'll last the kids a year, half a year. It's not a big deal to me, but I don't want to buy 15 different t-shirts that nobody wears. And so that's how I am trying to shift my purchasing power. I'm also upgrading my technology this year. I have an iPhone 6, I think. The guy was really disappointed when he went to look and trade in values. Because he's like, yeah, you get a bunch of money and put it towards it. It'll make your monthly payment even cheaper. I was like, great, dude. Awesome. It's not broken. It's working. I don't need to upgrade. But it was only worth like $30. And I'm like, I'm going to keep it. I'm going to give it to my daughter. She can play on the Wi-Fi. We can bring it on vacation. She can play her games. That would be perfect. That's worth $30 to me to keep it as an extra. I'm also upgrading to an iPad. Yeah, like a pro. But for business reasons, I'm going to start doing digital art. And I need that in order to do that. And thankfully, both have payment plans, which have been made even less expensive by a small down payment, because I have been saving towards this. I should have done a Black Friday. I should have, but I wasn't ready to commit. And I even went and I got, I went at the beginning of the month to get all the numbers crunched, and I sat on it for like 3 weeks because I was like, do I really want to do this? Am I sure I want to do this? Is this meaningful to me? And a lot of times, if I have anything more than $50, any purchase more than $50, including the memory sticks for my computer, I sleep on for 2 to 3 days, just to make sure. Especially with something for me versus the kids. Kids, you got to buy groceries. Groceries are like $50 to $75, or a little more, each week, especially during the summer when they're home. But we grow a lot, so that helps cut back a bit. But yeah, upping any amount in our budget makes a squeeze on something else. So knowing I have to shift things makes me kind of feel more comfortable with my decision if I sit on it for a night or two. And a lot of times I'm like, no, it's not worth it. But I was like, well, I'm going to have to get a new computer, or I'm going to have to buy these memory sticks. That is my decision. I cannot afford a new computer. I do not really want to buy a new computer right now, especially after I decided to upgrade the phone. So I was like, I'm going to buy the memory sticks. And then hopefully that should tide me over for quite some time. And 3 years, 4 years, that gives me some more time to save up for a computer. I expect, obviously, the phone, this has lasted me years and years and years. So I expect the new phone to last me for years and years. And that's how I kind of have had to wrap around my decisions in a different way. I like that. It makes me feel more comfortable with the purchasing decisions I'm making, instead of second guessing and being like, oh man, maybe I shouldn't have done that. And I really like it. I like that, just acknowledging that we have a consumer's culture. We do. And the idea that I enjoy making gifts for people, so everyone already knows that they're getting handmade gifts pretty much. When people don't typically get gifts from me, I always tell people, get gifts for the kids. I don't need anything. Like I have more than enough, and that brings me so much joy. I just look at my yarn and I'm happy, right? But I don't need anybody to go buy me something for me to feel loved. I want to spend time with someone. I'd like to have an activity with someone, have a meal together. That makes me happy. And so shifting that mindset from having to go somewhere with a friend to spend money versus, hey, come over, let's make a meal together. Let's turn on some TV. Let's catch up on gossip. It makes me much happier. Other people, that's fine. If that's not your lifestyle, that's fine. I'm not judging, but in the idea of considering a no buy whatever, it really has made me more comfortable with the concept versus when I first saw it, I was like, oh man, that's really intimidating. Am I just like not going to eat for a month? Like, how does this work? I don't get it. Am I not buying anything? I have to put gas in the car. The kids have to go to school. I volunteer. Whatever. How am I to do this? And then I learned more about it, and I'm like, gosh, this is really smart. Why haven't I done this before? Why did I wait this long to do this? And so I kind of wanted to share some insight with other people too, who might be intimidated by the subject or might want to grow their planner concept or planner brigade, whatever team you're on, to do a little more with it, to make it a little more personal to you versus just doing what everybody else is doing. So I hope that this has been helpful. If you guys have any questions, again, the Personal Philosophy Project, she's, of course it's not working, there we go, she's phenomenal. I love her. She's got so many videos talking about decluttering. I haven't made it that far yet. That's my spring to do thing. I'm decluttering, and talking about how much money she saved and specifically what she has stopped buying versus what she realized was important to her to purchase. And I thought that was really interesting too. So hopefully this gives you some food for thought and some encouragement to try it for 2 weeks, for a month, and to see if it works for you. See how much money you save. Love saving money. Going to Disney. Yay! Thanks again for watching, guys. Bye.